We are live. The computer says we are live. So I will contemplate going live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Mike, I hope you're doing well this 25th of June, post solstice 2023. We're in the thick of it, beloved wayfarers. We are in the thick of it indeed. The great heat. Actually, great heat hasn't set in yet. Great heat, according to the Chinese calendar, is going to be like the first week of July. So I got a coffee brewing up over here. Let me grab my coffee and yeah, see if anybody shows up. Well, my coffee isn't actually brewed yet, so I'll have to wait a second on that. Meanwhile, let me play you a tune. That ended wrong. That's okay. I forgot it right there at the end. That's all right. I will remember. Okay, so this coffee's getting a little closer to being done. Let me see here. I got to do one more pour on the pour over, guys. So bear with me. Meanwhile, I grabbed my calendar. Oh, we don't have any visitors here in the ideas room today. That's okay. It's hot, man, and the AC in this room doesn't work for shit. It's garbage. All right, we got that coffee set up, so we'll have that in just a minute. HypnoApotheosis. Enjoy learning new things and like sharing them with other people. Then HypnoApotheosis is for you, beloved. I like learning new things and sharing them with other people. Is one of the greatest pleasures in my life. HypnoApotheosis, hypnotic language, coaching sessions, reinforcement upon waking, fractionation. Still want to get a new microphone. I'll probably do that this summer. I'll get myself a decent mic so you guys don't have to struggle to hear me, so I can have some quality sound. I might even set up, I was thinking about setting up my camera. I got a really nice camera. I could set it up for live streaming, but kind of a pain in the ass. Not really worth it. When YouTube starts paying the bills, then I'll start using professional equipment. Okay, how about that? Review my channel and offer me a partnership program with I don't know, a $10,000 a year salary or something. That's not a lot of money for as much work as I do on this platform. In the HypnoApotheosis way, I illustrate 3 areas of the mind to be worked with: the conscious, the subconscious, and the unconscious or superconscious. The higher consciousness is like the power of life. Need a tarot reading? So let's talk all about let's get into the topic for today. We'll wait for a couple more people to show up, then we'll get into the topic of the day. How about that? How about that? Is that something you guys would like to do? Hey, free gift from God is here. Free gift from God. I will draw you a tarot card if you like. I'm not going to force it on you, right? But if you'd like one, man, I'd like to draw you a tarot card while I wait for the coffee to brew. Let's see what we've got for free gift from God. Heaven and earth, divine spirits and ancient masters, Ata, Malkut, Vegubra, Vegudla, Leolam, Amen. Let's get a card for free gift from God. The card of strength. Isn't the tarot just uncannily accurate concerning your love life, huh? Okay, so the strength card in advice to love means that the woman you're involved with may be more powerful than you. In a love query, the strength card, this illustration, the woman is able to tame your primal desires. So you're represented by the lion, the sexual, fiery lust, passion. And if it's a man-woman relationship, is it a man-woman relationship? Because it might be one of them newfangled gay relationships, which is, there's nothing wrong with that. But there is something wrong with sucking too much dick. Don't be sucking too much dick now. God thinks it's evil. But what does God know? All right, I got my coffee. Cup of coffee. You want to talk about it a little bit? We could do some tarot consultations. I had planned on pontificating about the HypnoApotheosis 100-day Magickal challenge. You like the vein? That shows how hot it is in here. That's all right. I ain't gonna sweat it. Well, actually, I am gonna sweat it. Okay, yeah. I knew that you were a normal dude. I was suspicious that you're a normal dude. And I've even been suspicious that you might be a colored fella. But I think, is your headshot really you? Is that a picture of you? Because it's so small, I can't even see it. But it looks like a white dude. But sometimes the way you talk, I thought you might be a colored fella. Okay, you're white and that's not you. All right, gotcha. Yeah, so the strength card's a good card. This is going into, yeah, I get mistaken for black too sometimes. Sometimes a colored fella, a person of color. And I'm like, I got all kinds of color. I got red, I got pink, I got yellow on my teeth. I got a gold star. I am a colored fellow. What's he talking about? This shows really the power of the 8th month, and the zodiacal sign is Leo. So I'd like a card concerned for the love life. So if you're interested in finding a potential romantic partner, it's advising that late July towards middle August, the dog days of summer, right? You're familiar with them, under the auspices of the dog star, the wolf star, Sirius. So be serious about it, man. Get out there, put yourself in the love line. Let people know, let friends and family know. Say, hey, I'm looking for a potential, whatever. I don't know how you're going to define it. But this does indicate that if you find a lover at this time, that she will have pretty great strength, right? Potentially, if she's a Leo or she has a lot of fire in her zodiacal chart, she will be able to temper your passions. But it will also indicate that she would be very sexually fiery and emotionally fiery. What is your, do you know your zodiac lineup? Are you a watery type dude, earthy dude, Do you know what most of your signs fall in? Because fire can be dangerous, man. It's a lot of fun and it illuminates, but it can be dangerous if your zodiac isn't strong enough to handle it. I mean, when we're talking about the plasma charge of the divine spark, then it could take many forms. Like it could be a Sagittarius, a Leo, an Aries. It could even be a Scorpio. That's fire and water. It could be a fire in air, would be like the Gemini, maybe. I think that's air. But the strength card is an auspicious card for finding a lover. Crowley actually renamed this one. He called it Lust for Life. So he said it directly represents the libido and controlling the libido. Yeah, looks like we've got some participants in the ideas room this morning. Good to see you guys. Cool. Yeah, I could give you some deeper insight. It's a passionate card. It's number 8, so it's a stabilizing factor. Even numbers are good for finding gals because they're receptive. Odd numbers are good for finding masculine lovers, if that's the kind of thing you're into. If you're a woman and you need a man, then look for odd numbers. No se te ipsum, right? Know yourself. If you can handle a fiery, passionate lover with a lot of emotional excitement, a real go-getter, then you can handle the strength card. If not, then you should wait until a different time, because when you're looking for a lover, you'll find a lover that corresponds with the seasonal transition oftentimes. And so around the time of the solstice, if you seek out, then you'll get that response, that direct universal energy response. I don't know, man. I don't know drummers. I've never really met a drummer. I think a good drummer would be an Aries. My son is an Aries, and he's a drummer. He does percussions, and he's really talented with it. And he's got a lot of flares too, like finger spinning shit. Throw the stick, spin it, all kinds of fucking spinning shit. I'm not a good drummer. I've never done anything but a bongo. Hanging out with the hippies. You ever hang out with the hippies there? We got a visitor. Dustin Miles Dua. Yeah, my son's only 14 though. If you can wait another 10 years, then I could send him to drum with your band. But yeah, it's gonna be a while. I'm waiting for the internet to respond, but it's not responding, guys. I don't know what's up. I don't know why it navigated away from my last page either. That's not any kind of fun. The internet does what it wants these days, man. It doesn't listen to commands anymore. There's the problem. Hiram Abiff? Yeah, I don't know much about Hiram Abiff, really. I've studied a little bit of the Masonic teachings, but he was the architect for Solomon's Temple, supposedly, right? And they kind of base the whole Freemason thing on him. One guy told me I was Hiram Abiff one time. He told me that I was the reincarnated Hiram Abiff because he came over I had a friend, and every time he came over to see me, he'd wake me up in the morning. He liked to get up early, like, super early. And if I had worked a long, hard night, I'd be sleeping in a little bit sometimes. And every time he came over, I'd have one sock on and one pant leg rolled up. And he said, "Why are you always wearing one sock? And why do you always got one pant leg pulled up?" And I don't know. He said, "You look like Hiram Abiff." And I said, "Who the fuck is that?" And he said, "It's the architect of Solomon's Temple." So he was a Freemason. He never told me anything else about it, though. And he never talked about Masonry. But later on, I saw him wearing a Masonic ring one time. And I asked him, I said, "Are you a Mason?" And he said, "Yeah, 33rd degree, Scottish Rite, all of it." And I was like, "Why didn't you ever fucking invite me?" And he's like, fuck, I don't know. I didn't think he'd be interested. I said, "Oh, yeah, of course I am, man." I don't think I ever told him I was a ceremonial magician. That's why. Because there's certain people you have certain relationships with. You just don't reveal some of your secret personal things. You know what I mean? Like he never told me he was a Mason. I never told him I was a magician. So that worked out great, I guess. Guess it wasn't meant to be. But yeah, if you see the first level of entry into the Masons, they roll up the left pant leg and take off that sock. So they should have one foot exposed. Don't even know why. Don't know that much about it, honestly. No, a little bit. Yeah. So yeah, Hiram Abiff would be the OG Mason. That's right, Dustin. Dustin, where are you from, man? You're a new visitor. I don't think I've ever seen you in the ideas room before here in the chat room. We're talking about HypnoApotheosis today, guys. HypnoApotheosis is my take on learning self-hypnosis in lieu of the 100-Day Magical Challenge. The 100-Day Magical Challenge, as you may know, you may not, but if you've been keeping up with them, it's a whole program of doing challenges for research and study into various arcanum. So arcanum means, right? It means secret teaching. It means the gnosis of the universe. And so I've done quite a few of them already. I did my first 100-day challenges with Kung Fu and Qigong, and then astral travel, tarot study, basic magical practice, all that kind of happy horse shit. You know what I'm saying? And so recently, the most recent one launched off about a month ago. So we're on day 35 right now, and the only program I have open right now on my laptop is a bunch of work. That's the universe reminding me to make sure I get all my work done before the end of the semester. I don't even know if you guys can hear me okay, man. These microphones don't pick everything up great. Maybe if I talk right at it. If I talk right at the microphone, can you hear me a little better? If I whisper in your ear, can you hear me? You guys doing all right out there? It's a hot and sweaty day here in Beijing, everyone. My program changed, man. It doesn't let me open recent files anymore. What the hell is that? My center. That doesn't make any sense. So they have me do an update on my word editing software, and now it doesn't have any way for me to access recently closed files. Okay, well, whatever. That's a crock of shit. I'll have to figure that out later. Seems like every time they do an update on some piece of software, they make it worse, right? It added a function for me to get a membership and pay them, $5 a month or something. And I'm like, hey, it's supposed to be an open source software for free, word processing. And now it's asking me to pay money. Fucking Subscription services, man, that's the way of the future. Anyway, I'll set this to the side for now and fire myself up a JP Farrell and check the chat. Getting a little older, guys, got to use the glasses to read. Dustin says, I'm one from the time you called into LP's show. You can't stop progress. Glad I followed. Oh, thank you for that, man. Yeah, that can't stop progress guy. His name's LP, really. He's fucking amazing, man, huh? He has a lot of fun. I think he got so many community strikes though that he kind of backed off for a while. And then I think YouTube might have unsubscribed to me because I haven't seen him post in a long time. Is he still active here on YouTube? That would be interesting. Frank out in Jersey says he's got a PDF file comparing Hiram Abiff to Asmodeus, because he's also a part of that story. Very interesting. I'd like to read that, man. Can you put that in the Discord? If you don't know, Dustin, we've got a Discord where we share PDFs and do some behind the scenes chit chatting. You can find it on the Frank Monday channel. Just click on the link. It'll take you there. Yeah, Dustin, join our Discord, and I'll ask Free Gift from God if he'll post that over there. That would be fun. Dustin, you didn't say where you're from though. Which part of the world are you in, man? Do you use Discord? Have you ever used it before? I've never really used it, but I try to get in there and chat a little bit. You know, I'm an old head. Are you an old head like me? I think LP's probably an old head too. You know, I think that's what the kids call us these days, right? Old heads. So I'm 50, man. Getting older. Don't feel old though. I do. I mean okay, thanks for the link. Thanks for the link. I'll click on that and have that open for later. I'm glad YouTube lets you post links. Maybe because you're a channel moderator. Pages 26 through 30. Let's check that out. See the full PDF. Do we have to pay to access it? Or we have to log in, continue reading with Google? Looks like a well-presented document, man. Looks like all the typesetting was done well. Looks like someone put some work into it. Fucking YouTube, man, with or Google. With my VPN open, it thinks that I'm broadcasting from some Danish country or something. It always uses some fucking crazy language. Jesus. 5 different confirmation buttons for me to sign in to academia.edu. Okay, who is Asmodeus, king of the demons? It says that Frank Monday has been mentioned 3,650 times. I don't think so. I think that Frank and Monday have been mentioned in the same document. I don't think that Frank Monday has been talked about on academia.com. I can't imagine that's true. Yeah, it looks like it's free. I just had to log in with Google. Ancient Egyptian religion, demonology, eschatology, apocalypticism. Never heard of that before. I've heard of the apocalypse, but study of the apocalypse, or what would apocalypticism be? Would that be like worshipers of the apocalypse? Believers in the apocalypse, I guess. I don't know. Doesn't seem like that should be a category. Research into Freemasonry, biblical interpretation, and more. Yeah, don't show more. Fuck, that's already a mouthful. Medieval Talmudic legends and Quranic commentary explain that Asmodeus, a demon, usurped the throne of King Solomon and led the world astray as a fraudulent son of David. Contemporary Jews and Muslims dismiss these events as mere folklore, having little relevance to the time at hand. Says Asmodeus will reemerge as the apocalyptic false messiah. Um, the way King Solomon's life went towards the end, right? I would almost be suspicious that he was possessed by Asmodeus because he kind of fucking threw it all away, right? At the end, got involved with the Queen of Sheba, became really decadent, and engaged in a lot of orgies and shit. I don't know. I don't remember exactly, man, but it sounds legit. Original PDF. Yeah, they put some work into this PDF, man. Whoever made this, Abu Mohammed David Levy. That's a strange name, man. I guess two different people. Abu Muhammad and David Levy put this together. General introduction. Asmodeus is described primarily as the main antagonist in the Book of Tobit. Sure, that's not the Book of Hobbit? I guess that's where Tolkien got the idea of hobbits. Huh? He just took the Tobit and put an H there instead of a T. Um, so he's the same as Samael or Satan. Now I've met Asmodeus. Then I've met Samael. My grandmother at the time of her passing away, she said that there was a giant black snake under her bed, eating her spirit and consuming her life force at the end of her life. And there was an evil doctor named Kevorkian? No, Shackelford. And Shackelford put her on meds that made her blood coagulate. And then he started chopping off her limbs one by one. And he chopped off both her legs and one arm before she finally died. And that was pretty fucking evil, man. And the whole time she was in extreme pain and suffering. Um, so she went through like serious hell the last 5 years of her life. Those doctors playing games with her, experimenting on her. Pretty brutal, man. And that was in the 1980s. So there were still old Nazi leftovers from Paperclip still doing their work, licking their scalpels and, engaging in human sacrifice into the mid 80s. They're probably still doing it now, but, I'm not one to speculate or pontificate on my channel. Just telling you the facts. And it said, I am Sam the Serpent. And I was like, Sam the Serpent, this fucking horse shit. And I thought I just dreamed it because grandma told me about it. But here's the thing, man. After she passed away, I went back there like, I don't know, maybe a decade later to her old piece of property. And I was doing some work on the old house and I got in there under the house and there were like caverns like dug by burrowing animals. And I was sticking my head. I had a flashlight and I was sticking my head in one of the holes. And they were like, like I thought it was a Wolverine's fucking den or something. And a fucking big black snake was in there, man, with a giant head, probably like a head the size of my fist. And when I shined the light at it, it fucking went back deeper into the hole. And I was like, man, this thing is riddled with catacombs, like, for like rabbits or any kind of burrowing animal. But there was, in fact, a giant black snake living under her fucking house, man. And so what do you do with that, right? What do you do with that? Did she see it before she got sick and then just dream about it? Or was that motherfucker a supernatural creature? I don't know. But it appeared to me again 3 other times in dreams. And every time I saw it, I was frightened to death and I'd run away from it. And once I started really getting into my magic about maybe 15, 20 years ago and doing the lesser banishing ritual all the time, like religiously, and memorized it and integrated it into my psyche, I was deep in dreamland and I saw that serpent again. It rose up and I was like, oh, Samael, right? And and I was like, I'm not scared of you now. I'm a magician. And I did the lesser banishing ritual with a flaming pentagram and I invoked Yod Hey Vah Hey at it. And the pentagram went down and covered the snake and it enveloped it in flames. And the snake was writhing in the flames and it burned it up, man. It vanished. And I was like, there you go. There you go. That fucking magic shit works. And I've never seen it again since. But maybe it's still out there lurking. But it didn't, I wasn't able to get a foothold in me because I had learned magic and I was and that it's funny too, because now that always happens in dreams. If there's anything in a dream, I can almost always handle it now. Let me get a little more into this. He said it was pages 26 through 30. I'll have to scroll down, guys. Sorry, I'm not able to keep up with the chat right this second because I've navigated away from the page to look at this document and tell you guys that story. Looks like there's some good stuff in here. Samael says that he is called Asmodeus among mortals, and my business is to plot against the newly wedded so that they may not know one another. And I sever them utterly by many calamities, and I waste away the beauty of virgin women and estrange their hearts. I transport men into fits of madness and desire when they have wives of their own, so that they leave them and go off by night and day to others that belong to other men, with the result that they commit sin and fall into murderous deeds. Yeah, that's not Asmodeus. That's just normal newlywed behavior. Hopefully you can overcome that. But that sounds diabolical. They're just trying to account for why guys, when they first get married, get disenchanted with their old lady and want to go fuck other women. It's because the covenant of monogamy is not ordained by God. It's ordained by man. And the true nature of man is to be polygamous. It's not to be monogamous. So they're, the Quran, the Bible, they really hardcore preach any other mammalian creature of majestic being, right? Like think of a horse or a lion. Now, I mean, we're not animals, obviously, we're above animals, but think of the majesty of a horse. Now, a horse keeps a harem. And so any red-blooded, heart-beating man knows that God did not make a covenant of monogamy with man, that was done by religion and the church. So you shouldn't worship religion and books as being the source of natural inspiration and natural law, I don't think, right? So those normal mammalian behaviors a lot of times were deemed as sinful by the church. But you don't need a fucking demon to want to get out there and act like a lion or a horse or any other mammalian creature of majestic beauty. They're not monogamous, they're polygamous. They keep harems. And so being denied a harem is what's destroying the world, going against natural law. Men should have, like in India, 2 or 3 wives at least, and breeding many children. He said, go forth and, procreate, right? So if you're a man's man and you like women, then you should have a couple of 2 or 3 women. Monogamy is good for the modern time, though, I think, because, a lot of people complain about there being too many people, but really there's not enough people. I mean, that's just the fact. So when you face facts and you face natural law, you realize a lot of religious teaching falls apart. So it says that Solomon followed Astarte, the goddess of the Sidonians, and Milcom, the distinguishing idol of the Ammonites. So Solomon did what the Lord considered evil. He did not wholeheartedly follow the Lord of his father. David had done. his father David had done. God had given him commandments about this. He told him not to follow other gods, but Solomon did not obey God's command. First Kings, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I agree with this teaching here that I don't believe in idolatry, but I don't think you should make an idol of Christ either, you know? So what's good for the goose is good for the gander. You can't say, hey, don't make idols and then make Christ into an idol. I mean, what's that all about, right? Like, Jesus's teaching is not about idolatry at all. And so when, mainstream Christians, they get out there and they push him like an e-ticket at Disneyland or something, like a golden ticket to the chocolate factory. That's not the way it works, man. That's idolatry. Accepting Christ into your heart and following the Christian path is not something that can be declarative. It has to be done secretly. And so true Christians of like the Gnostic faith and people who are really interested in learning about natural law, then they don't idolize Jesus and set him forth as an idol. The Catholic Church likes to do that. The Christians like to do it too, and they're, according to their own teaching, they're committing a cardinal sin by doing so. And so it's very egregious. Yeah. Just they're filling their pockets with money is basically what they're doing. Which is all right, but that's the cult of Christianity. That's not true Christianity. True Christianity is esoteric Christianity. It's like the Gnostics and I'm not one of those. I mean, I do enjoy esoteric Christianity as a study, but honestly, guys, I'm more of a hermeticist and a Taoist. I like to just observe natural law quietly and try to integrate with it a little bit. And I'm not going to put that many rules on myself, Good God, at the amount of rules and commandments. I know the good commandments, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, which I kind of disagree with that too. I think you should flirt with your neighbor's wife. It kind of makes her feel good. It enlivens life. A lot of these rules they came up with were for very distinct situations in moments in time that are not our moment in time. And so we always need to revisit the old wisdom and enliven it for the new age. I think you should flirt with the women around you and in your career, whether they be other men's wives or not. Because again, that whole one wife for every man is, it's horse shit. I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that other men flirt with my wife and there's nothing I can do about it, because I'm not around. I'm at work. I'm trying to pay the bills. I'm going to worry about that shit. No, of course not. Of course not. Don't overthink it, man. Life is meant to be lived, not to be fucking worried about constantly. Do your best, and that's all that can be expected of anyone. Have kindness in your heart, that kind of thing. Sometimes you got to be savage, though. You know what I mean? Yeah, I don't see a lot in here, man, about Hiram Abiff. I'll have to read it later on because it's there's a lot there. I'll read one more little paragraph for you guys. So Asmodeus was tempting Solomon, and tongues of flame leapt from his nostrils. But when he looked upon Solomon's ring, he bowed down humbly and said, "O prophet of God, may your kingdom be magnified. Yet in the end it will pass away from you." "You speak truly," said Solomon, "but tell me of the strangest thing you have seen mankind do." "O prophet of God," he began, "one day I passed by a man pulling on a rotten rope, nearly eaten through by locusts. And I realized that he was feeble minded. And I passed by another man who claimed knowledge of the occult. And since only God knows of the occult, I was astonished at his foolishness. Really? That's the strangest thing that a fucking demon has seen men doing? One pulling on a rope and another studying the occult? Those don't seem like very strange things to me. So again, it's a time and place. It's limited by time and place. I don't see a lot there yet, but I'll look it over again later. It looks like Solomon's ring was a big deal. I have Solomon's ring, because it came from King David. It was an heirloom. I have a gold band. That's my father's ring. He used that to wed my mother. And it's got the seal of Solomon on the inside. So I know that my dad was in some kind of secret society, probably a naval group, a naval boys club, because he was a Navy guy, Navy intelligence. So bow down and kiss my ring. I've also got Solomon's star, right? Or this is actually the Star of David. Solomon's star is the pentagram. But yeah, we're all. How's the song go? Father Abraham had many sons. Many sons had Father Abraham. I am one of them, and so are you. So let's just praise the Lord. I don't remember the rest, man. That was from church camp when I was a kid. I want to talk a little bit about HypnoApotheosis, but I'd only planned on doing a 30-minute stream, guys. So I'm gonna hit the road, man. I got shit to do. But I will leave you with this. How do you achieve health, wealth, and well-being? Do it by the power of the mind and faith in God. You got to work hard, man. There's no getting out of it. Get a regular job, work hard. But the conscious mind has been called mortal, or the casual mind. It is the governing factor of the sense perception and how we view the world. It is the human mind that is most closely associated with cognition and sees life as it appears to be. It sees death, disaster, poverty, and limitation of every kind. It is the aspect of the mind most easily influenced by perceived perceptions and those around you. Yeah, so be wary, because the conscious mind is the one most easily influenced by human opinion. And you don't want to listen too much to human opinion, man. You want to watch natural law, because man cannot really articulate. There's varying levels of law. There's cosmic or celestial law, and then there's natural law, which is what man swims around in, right? And then there's infernal law. So in Taoism, we have the three great divides, right? The kingdom of heaven above, the earth sphere, the material, what we call the prime material plane, or the plane of man, which includes natural law. And then there's the infernal realm below, So the Taoists, they do organize it into a system of heaven and hell. I know the Jewish mystics, they say there is no hell, but there is. In the beginning of the Kabbalah, there's a klipot created by God's original failure in creating the cosmos, right? They say that the first time God attempted to bring forth light, he failed. So even God fails occasionally. And the Jewish mystics, they don't perceive God as an omnipotent necessarily. He's also prone to mistakes and prone to forgetting. So I worry for people who are atheists and they don't have direct prone to forgetting. So I worry for people who are atheists and they don't have a direct relationship with the grand creator, because chances are, if I ask people sometimes, well, they'll ask me, they'll say, do you believe in God? And I say, no, I don't. I know God. Doesn't require my belief. I don't have to believe in God because I know that I know that it's real. And then on the same note, I'll say, "Do you believe in God?" No, 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 no. I don't believe in God. So it's good. He doesn't believe in you either. You've lost connection with Source, and you'll be abandoned. So don't do that, man. Build a personal relationship with with the divine spark, and value that, cherish it, because it's a real deal, man. The mind needs to be disciplined, right? And that's what the HypnoApotheosis challenge is all about. It's all about disciplining the mind this time around. And a mosquito bit me under my eye last night. That was probably Asmodeus paying me a little visit, huh? Drinking some of my intellect away. Let me find mosquitoes are demoniacal little parasitic demons. You know what I mean? When you see one, kill one. Protect yourself against them. Ward your home. Have good functioning screens on your windows. Don't leave your door sitting open and shit. That's why we build houses, man, to stay away from vectors and vermin. So yeah, one snuck in last night and bit me in the fucking eye. Very upsetting. I should have been doing my lesser banishing ritual more, huh? Yeah, you can do all the magic you want, but it's never going to take the place of just working hard. So the big heat season, the dog days of summer, according to the Chinese calendar, will start on July 7th this year, and it will run through August 23rd. So that will be the great heat time period. My bad. August 8th. August 8th, according to the Chinese lunar calendar, will be the start of autumn. So, yeah, if you think it's hot now, wait until the middle of next month, man. It's going to be fucking blazing hot. All the climate change guys will be running around, throwing their hands in the air, yelling, "The sky is falling!" So make merry and enjoy while you can, guys. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate and love each and every one of you. I'll do some shout outs here. Free gift from God. Good to see you, man. Thanks for the PDF. I will definitely check it out. It seems a little bit archaic and it seems a little outdated, but I do remember, if I remember correctly, they did portray Solomon as going down the primrose path to oblivion. Not good to do, man. Not good to do. But even according to the biblical teaching, God was never against magic. Solomon practiced magic. David practiced magic. Moses practiced magic. Jesus practiced magical practitioners. What he said to avoid was sorcery and the summoning of demons for power and jinn. He said that if you want to do magic, then you do natural magic, God-inspired angelic magic, and you work with the angels and God's direct authority to get shit done, and avoid any sorcery. So I agree with that opinion. But it says that he was the antagonist of Solomon. Yeah, that's very likely. I don't necessarily disagree with that thinking if those are allegorical stories, but a lot of times, man, I don't think these were allegorical stories. I think these guys were legitimately getting it done. They lived in a different world. They lived in a primeval world of megafauna and megaflora. They had 1,000-year-old trees. 1,000-year-old trees were pretty common. Huge woodlands, undisturbed by modern man. There was no pollution there. I mean, there was pollution of different kinds for, volcanic explosions, and there was all kinds of climate change and shit going on even back then. But they could tap into natural power, I think, more easily than we could. They lived in a more dreamlike state. They were more fluid in being able to transform the body, through metamorphosis. they could perceive angelic forces more directly. You know, like if they summoned an angel of God or an angel of God appeared to them, that was a real thing, man. That wasn't hallucination. We live in a very prosaic, dumbed down world where all of our old growth forests have been cut and burned. All of our pristine natural water sources have been polluted and fouled, you know, and we live in a modern world of very low tech modern world, you know, really. I think that the higher levels of technology were reached in ancient times. Mm, yeah, yeah. So I'm a synthesis of many different things. None of these are belief systems, though. They're just um, paths of inquiry. I'm a researcher. I'm not a believer per se. Like some things I have direct knowledge of, right? Like the knowledge of God is a little different. I've experienced that directly. I've experienced magic through natural law as well, like the summoning of thunderstorms and lightning bolts and earthquakes and stuff like that. And the average practitioner shouldn't mess around with shit like that, but it's achievable. And spiritual immortality is what we're headed for, man. That's what HypnoApotheosis is all about. I hope y'all good looking sexy people have a wonderful day out there in Happy Land. Please check me out on www.buymeacoffee.com/Frank Monday. Put a little something in the tip jar, you know, a little fiver, a tenner, a penny, whatever you feel like, whatever gift of the heart. Definitely join the Discord because we do a little behind the scenes chatting over there. And stay tuned for more, man. I've gotten ahead of my last YouTube strike for talking shit. And so hopefully I don't get another one because that would be the end of my channel. And I would hate that because I love hanging out with y'all good looking sexy people out there in Happy Land. Y'all have a good day. And as we wander into the abodes of the future, do good magic.